Good morning, YouTube world. Is this picking me up? I hope so. Just give me 1 second here, and I shouldn't say 1 second because I hate when people use non-literal amounts of time. 30 less than 30 seconds actually, and we'll be going live. In case you don't know, on YouTube, I also record an audio version of this. So if you don't already follow the Solopreneur Grind podcast, you definitely should. You can find it on the website, solopreneurgrind.com. You can then go to /podcast or just hit the podcast link at the top of the website. And that way, if you don't like either watching live on YouTube or the video, every Friday, the audio clip goes out. And so we're going to get started now. So welcome. It is episode, I think it's 88 of the SG Daily, which I'm going to start just calling the weekly because at this point, that's what it is. Every Friday afternoon, episode 88. And just giving you guys updates, quick, basically twofold. Number one, quick update on where I'm at. And number two, kind of like the key takeaway or thing I'm thinking about as regards to business from the week. If you can't tell, also on YouTube, hopefully the quality is a lot better because I got a new webcam. I've been using this new mic for, well, not new anymore, probably about 6 months, maybe longer since I've got the mic. So trying to slowly improve the setup, and hopefully lighting's a little bit better and all that good stuff. But let's get into the business. Excuse me. It's been a really cool month back from 2020. Last week I talked about taking a break. And it's cliche, right? Like it sounds basic, but taking enough time away from your business a couple times a year is so helpful. And so January, there really has been this, like, as lame as it sounds, like renewed sense of motivation, energy, excitement, and just different mindset shift. Not huge shift, but being able to take more than like 4 or 5 days away from something. It's funny how our brains work, in the sense that, like, you'd think when you take 4 or 5 plus days away from a business that you stop thinking about it. I actually find it's the opposite, and that the longer you go, the more you continue thinking about that thing, if that makes sense. If you guys can relate to that, then definitely let me know. And so it's been really exciting for a few reasons. Mainly is with my new immigration startup. So as you know, I'm an immigration lawyer, but about 6 months ago launched an immigration startup. And what we're doing is focused on building a free portal to help skilled workers navigate immigration to Canada. Right now, it's very hard, confusing or expensive, or all of the above, to go through immigration processes. So we're trying to make that simpler. And it's been really exciting. We launched our version 1 of our portal that we're testing with users, which has been an interesting experiment. And number 2, focused on some monetization efforts as well. I'll update you guys more on that because I think it'll be a little bit more exciting in February. For the time being, it's more testing and stuff like that. And what the other thing I started to realize, and I guess this will be kind of the crux of the conversation, is, hey, Millie, thanks for joining in live. I do stream this live on YouTube, but Millie, I can't understand what you wrote because you didn't type in English. If you can type in English, that would be awesome, and I'm happy to answer any questions. But the focus for this week is kind of on your life calendar, in the sense that after working long enough for yourself, I mean, it didn't happen to me at first, right? At first, one of the main benefits of having your own business, working for yourself, whether it's freelance or anything, obviously, is the flexibility, right? You don't have to check into someone's office at 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, whatever it is, 8 to 4, Monday to Friday. And you don't reap the full rewards from that right away. And the reason I think that is because if you're starting a new business from scratch, you still have to make money, right? The reason why it's okay to check into other people's offices 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, is because you're getting a steady paycheck. When you start a new business by yourself, you're likely not getting a steady paycheck, or the paycheck, we'll call it with quotation marks, isn't what you want it to be right from the outset, right? Maybe it is. It kind of depends on the person, how much you need and how good of a start you have. But for most people, You're working really hard for the first few months, first few years, maybe many years to reach a certain level of success or financial threshold. But once you hit a certain threshold, and I look at them, there's like a few steps along the financial growth model as a solopreneur. One is like you reach $1, right? You make $1. That's pretty exciting. The next is like you start making enough money to kind of prove that you have a business here. Another level would be I'm meeting my monthly expenses, which is super exciting. And then, there's more like, oh, I'm very, I'm comfortable, I'm rich, and you can just, go down that sort of spectrum. But at the beginning, your focus is to move slowly up that spectrum. Once you hit a certain point in your spectrum, this is different depending on what you're looking for, right? Some people are just looking to hit their monthly expenses, and that's it. Some people are looking to make whatever, 100 grand, and that's it. Some people want to become, a millionaire or tens of millionaire, whatever. The point isn't that there's a right or wrong there, because there isn't. But the point is, when you hit a certain threshold, depending on what you're looking for, you unlock, I think, even more freedom, right? Because then it means that you can really, especially if you're able to automate or outsource some of your work, you can start doing more or less things within your business, and you can start doing more or less things outside of your business, right? So you can start another business. You can pick up a new hobby you've been meaning to try. You can do anything, right? You can literally do anything. I hate that word literally, but you can actually do anything you want and basically start crafting the life calendar of your dreams if you're able to reach a certain financial threshold that either meets your needs or meets your wants, right? Because some people have more wants than others. So, maybe you live a more lavish lifestyle. You like eating out more. You like buying more clothes. You like buying tech gadgets, whatever it is. And there's no right and wrong. But what I've started to appreciate even more, I've been doing this for 2.5 years working for myself. And really only in the last 6 months has it been clear that you can build the lifestyle that you want if you can reach a certain level of monthly revenue, basically, for a lack of a better way of putting it. Now, the one of the hard parts can be figuring that out, right? Because there's so many things to do. Do you want to travel more? Do you want to work remotely? Do you want to just put in a few hours of work every day and chill and do nothing, right? Or go read, or play video games, or like search on Reddit all day, right? The world's your oyster. I would assume that if a motivated entrepreneur, probably doesn't want to reach a certain threshold and then just lie on the couch all day and do nothing. But heck, lying on the couch all day and reading, that's not a terrible life too for some people. So I've started to think about that more, right? Which is, if you had, let's just say you had this magical business, and not magical because it is feasible, where you could spend 2-3 hours a day on it Monday to Friday, and it generated more than enough money to sustain you financially. How would you fill the rest of the calendar, right? I think that's something pretty interesting to think about, even if you're not there yet, because 2 reasons. Number one, getting towards there, it can add some motivation, right, along the way. And number two is it'll help you in your current motivation, because you now have a why, right? Or you can at least start thinking about a why. Like, this is a way of life that might really be my dream way of living, of waking up every day. And that's motivating and kind of liberating. And like I said, another way of trying to work to get there. A little bit abstract with this thinking at the end, but I think it's interesting, and I think it can be important for for people that are working for themselves, especially in lifestyle type businesses, especially people with families. I mean, that's, I guess, an easier answer. If you have wife and kids, husband and kids, partner and kids, unlocking more time to spend with them will be super important. So anyways, I'm going to end this, especially the second half was a bit of a ramble, but hopefully that makes sense. Sometimes we do get a little bit more abstract. Would love to hear your thoughts if you do think or spend a lot of time around kind of planning and thinking about your time spent outside of the work calendar, or maybe you want to just fill your work calendar with more different types of work, right? Maybe you started your first business, now you've reached a certain threshold, but really you just want to keep building other side businesses, and that's awesome too. So anyways, that's it for the stream. SG Weekly number 88. I'm going to start changing the name now to Weekly. And hope you have a great weekend. And make sure, if you like this video or audio, whatever you're listening to, make sure to subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you like the video, it really helps with the algorithm and all the sharing and stuff like that. Alrighty, have a great weekend. I'll talk to you next week.